Hi everyone, it's Wednesday evening and we are back. Tonight I have little Silas here. I'm going to change him. I've left him in this really sweet little white outfit. It says happy being me since the last changing video I did with him because I think white suits him best. Definitely suits his look best, but I'm going to put him into the new skip hop onesie that I got, that I showed you guys a couple of videos back. I think it'll be cute on him. So I was thinking about maybe the irony or some of the idiosyncrasies of living in a world that's centered around social media. And when I say living in a world that's centered around social media, you know, I'm speaking of my world, I guess. I don't know statistically if the entire world is centered around social media the way that the Western cultures, I guess you would say, which I think includes, I don't know. I don't want to misspeak, but I was chatting with a friend briefly this morning while I was getting ready for work. Was it this morning? I think so. Maybe it was last night. And one of my old hobbies and activities came up that used to be one of the big focuses for me. And I spent a lot of time practicing. I made sure to spend time every day practicing. Really enjoyed it, got really good at it. Or really good for me at it, I'll say. And I don't do it anymore. It was a form of dance, but I was like, I joked to her, I said, now all of my spare time is spent scrolling through Instagram and making videos and stuff. And she said, yeah, believe me, we're all centered around social media now. All of us, obviously, that are here on social media. I'm not saying that my life or all of your lives are, you know, centered around YouTube and that's all you do. But I'm just saying, like, a lot of us, at least a lot of the people that I, you know, am familiar with, do spend a large chunk of our downtime on social media. I've talked before about how much I love to read and how I've got like several books in progress and I don't do anything with, and there's no reason other than my brain. I mean, this is the best way I can describe it. My brain is captivated by the feeling of doing this activity, of playing on social media, of scrolling through Instagram, putting up pictures and messaging, and it's not exactly new. I had a MySpace page. I had a Facebook page. Still have a personal Facebook page, but I really don't do much on it anymore. So Instagram's definitely the number one, and then YouTube is the number two. But so this evening, I was kind of thinking about some of the dynamics of that and some of the funny things that have grown out of that culture. One interesting thing, I think I may have talked about this once before. I did come across at least one study that was done about the addictive quality of the social media experience, namely scrolling and the liking, and then the feeling of seeing other people like your stuff. They did a study And they said that actual motion of scrolling engages the pleasure center of the brain that releases, endorphins or chemicals in the brain. And then you like want more of that. And also the having your stuff liked, like it actually does, there is a chemical response in the body which your body can become addicted to. Now I'm not comparing that to addiction to substance, but I mean just a habitual addiction, but it actually, something does happen in our brains according to this study, that it's habit forming, that it's beyond just being lazy or being really into something. Like there's actually something physical that happens. Do we want socks? I'm not sure. There's these little feet. So that was really interesting for me to read, because, and especially if you have young children or adolescent children, teenagers, it's a topic that probably comes up, like how much time that they spend in social media and that they're addicted to their phones. And, we are too, I think, in my opinion. There is something to that. Another funny thing that popped into my head was, I don't know if you guys have seen, there's a commercial, the like character of the campaign is Captain Obvious. And I think it's TripAdvisor or Expedia. But it's someone will be, there are different ones, but someone will be looking at somebody else's page or post on social media, and they'll be like jealous of their trip. Oh, I want to go zip lining with Lil Jon. That kind of thing. And then he'll say, don't hate like someone else's trip. I just heard it for a while. I didn't really see it or watch it, but then I watched it and eventually, and that's what the person's doing. They're making a kind of an envious comment or a jealous comment, and they're liking that person's picture or status update with a picture of their photo of their trip. And he's saying, don't hate like their trip, book your own. And I was like, hate like? I've never heard of that before. So I guess it's when you begrudgingly like somebody else's like picture or activity or whatever, but you're actually jealous. That was hilarious. Never heard of that before. There was one more thing. Let me think about that. So this is really cute outfit. Peanut. Somewhere in this room, some essential oils spilled or something, and I can't pinpoint where it's coming from. But it's driving me nuts trying to figure it out. I'm going to flip this blanket over because it's a solid color on the other side, and this pattern's a bit busy with the alphabet pattern on his bodysuit. What was the other thing? Oh, I remember seeing a picture, or maybe it was a video thing, but somebody had put up a picture of this like a beautiful family picnic, and they're around a picnic table, and there's a fresh jug of lemonade that's like sweating on the table very lightly with citrus floating in it, and the kids are all smiley and happy in their beautiful Sunday best, and it's like this perfect happy family, and then and then they show like, here's the 15 minutes leading up to that, and it's chaos, and they're yelling trying to get the kids in place, and everything off camera is a total mess, and everybody's sweaty. But then you only see in the frame, you know, the picture perfect moment. And they were saying like a lot of people would see that photo and feel envious of that family, and look how beautiful what they do on Sundays, and their setup, and how good their kids are, and wholesome, and all of that. And you know, the point obviously is that you only see what they want you to see. And it actually made me feel, I think that the intention was also made me feel a little bit better that in the frame, you know, you don't want to assume that you are so not together, and you know everybody else is so together, because what they're showing you, what they choose to show. And I guess maybe that bleeds over into our society. You know, I heard from, I feel like I kind of heard it from the high school age kids now, that, you know, it's really frowned upon to say anything that could be insulting if it's the truth, that actually it's preferred and better decorum or social correctness to pretend and lie to the person's face and then just talk about them behind their back. Not that that's new to, you know, teenagers or kids, or even, you know, some could argue people in general, but it's about the image and the perception and what you want to portray as truth rather than truth. And I guess I see some connection how they're feeding off of each other, and I guess it makes sense if social media platforms and that whole universe, the social media universe in which so many people live, and then, you know, of course the kids are growing up in, it makes sense that it would reshape the social dynamic and the social rules. Also, that one other thing that I remember that kind of ties in with that scrolling and the multitasking is that your brain actually does retain information differently or learn differently based on your attention that you give to something. So like, that's like, if you ever go on and watch CNN right now, for example, which I don't typically have news channels on, but if you were to go put that on right now, you would see at some points you would see, you know, a newscaster talking about a story. You might even see a window pop up on the side previewing something that's come up, and then you have the ticker tape across the bottom that's giving you more news stories. And so you are reading, looking at something else, listening to something else, and your brain is, you know, your brain's processing, you know, 200 billion bits of information any second, but you're only aware of 2,000 of them, let's say. But you are think you're multitasking, right? But it's not like that for most people. So if you are, you know, working, like let's take me for example, if I'm working and I'm listening to something on the TV and I'm having a conversation and then I text somebody, all of those things are happening at once. I might feel like I'm getting a whole lot of things done, but my ability to retain that information will be compromised based on, you know, like current research of the brain, because it's a different center in the brain, long-term memory and short-term memory. So when you are focusing deeply on something, it's processed differently in the brain and is retained as a long-term memory. But if you're just getting like surface glances and you're doing a lot of things at once, you're not engaging that long-term memory. So retention and depth of knowledge goes down. like depth of understanding goes down. And with that, and you see this in the kids' ability to focus, it's like focus, it's a trained behavior or a lost behavior or ability that has to be retrained, because if you're not engaging that ability to focus on a singular thing, it actually is difficult. Those connections aren't there. And they actually, we would have to practice that. Like meditation is a good way to do that, because you focus on a singular thing at first and you learn to let the thoughts go through without attachment. But you focus on a candle flame, or you focus on a single sound, or you focus, you repeat a mantra, or you focus on your breath. So you're focused, and then you keep coming back to that. And the more you practice it, the more you gain the ability. But right now, they're saying that the modern attention span is like 3 seconds. So if you watch a movie, like sit your kids down to watch a movie, if you are my age or older, sit your kids down and have them watch a movie from when you were a kid, and a lot of times you'll find that they get really bored. There's long camera shots of watching someone's face. The opening credits are very long. There's long just camera shots of one scene, and it's character development, right? It's a different way of experiencing stuff. But now it's 3 seconds, so you have an explosion here and a bam here, and you look in here and you look in there, and then this is happening, and you can barely, like, your eyes feel blurry because everything's happening so fast. But if you were to sit and focus on one thing too long, you would lose the audience's attention, because everything is scrolling and ticking across the bottom, and talking and sound and music and TV all at the same time. It's uncomfortable and not really like an exercise skill to go deep. So very interesting. To me, it's very interesting. I'm sure not to everybody. But that's that. Here he is. It's very soft and cuddly too. And it has the built-in mitts, which is cute. But his hands are so beautiful being open like that. So we'll keep them out for now. That's it. Oh, I know. And then the thing that got me thinking about it this evening was that there was a song being played that's actually a lot of spoken word, and in it the artist was like challenging you to do whatever it takes to be a better you, to tap into whatever it is that will help you to become that, I guess, and to remove negativity and whatever. And he said things like, if it means removing social media, if it means removing TV, if it means all these things, then do that for yourself, like to protect that practice for yourself, to release more and more negativity in your life and in your internal environment and in your mind, to be able to focus on the things that help you become what you really want to be and who you really want to be, and the environment you put yourself in. I mean, like a fish doesn't realize that he's a fish in water, right? He's just existing in that. But if the water is a toxic environment and you're surrounded by it, living in it, swimming in it, you don't even realize it. So if so your environment does absolutely affect, and the things that are coming at you absolutely affect, how easy or how challenging it will be if you want to not be influenced by those vibrations, if that makes sense. So, and then another thing he was saying, like, he said something about a 30-day social media fast, and I know people who have done that too. I always am triggered when people announce that they're going to do it. I don't know why. I mean, there's no reason for me to be. But I've had friends on social media that will announce that, and it's like, to me, it defeats the purpose because it's like going for a reaction. I don't know, but that's not necessarily true. I'm just saying what happens in my mind about it. It's involuntary and it's certainly, quite possibly not true. But anyway, so I was thinking about that. Wow, we are actually fasting from social media, right? But you're removing something that maybe has a little bit of a grip on you so that you can focus on something of a higher priority to you. So anyway, that was my social media musings for this evening. Okay. Thank you for sticking around if you have, and I'm going to let you guys go because we're 20 minutes in. But we're sending out lots of love, and we will be back soon. Bye for now.